Hi, I'm Rick DeYour. I'm the professor of percussion at the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. And that was the second part of this year's NCMEA snare drum audition. So the first part we did was the classical part. This is the rudimental or technical part. So we had a little bit of a rudimental solo and then some Piatti or crash cymbals. This is not too difficult. Some of you without this kind of rudimental experience might find it more difficult, but it's, kind of like a marching band solo. All the rolls should be played open. You see these slashes here, and you should follow all these stickings exactly as they're written. That's what makes it a technical etude. So we'll go through this line by line and talk about some of the complexities, and then we'll talk about the Piatti part at the end. First, a little note on the equipment I'm using. The sticks I'm using, I make these. These are Cocobolo Rosewood, and they're heavy. I like a heavy stick for rudimental drumming. So I would suggest using a stick that's 70 grams and over. These are 84 grams, these particular sticks. They make playing this stuff a lot easier, for me anyway. The cymbals I'm using are older, so early 1990s Sabian HH Viennese cymbals. So you see that there. These are very thin cymbals. I use them a lot for playing opera and other things like that. I would suggest using a thin pair of Piatti for this audition if you can find them. And if you could bring your own, that would be ideal. I'm sure they'll have some there. Hopefully on a cradle, because you got to pick it up pretty quick. Make sure you count those 8 bars, because the judges will be counting these 8 bars of rest and come in correctly. So all the flams in this etude should be played open like this, as opposed to a closed flam. These should be played pretty open, so you hear that grace note. All right, so the beginning's fairly easy. We'll slow it down here for you to quarter note equals 100. The written tempo is quarter note equals 110. And we'll put it on the 16th so you can hear the subdivision. 1, 2, 1, 2. So you hear that subdivision. I would definitely suggest practicing with those 16th notes on the metronome. All right. You're not going to be able to use a metronome for the audition, but once you practice a lot with it, you'll have it in your head. You'll feel that pulse. Those rolls at the end of, or that roll at the end of the third stanza, like this, I would suggest going to the edge of the drum here. That will help you out. All right. You saw on that fourth stanza, probably the hardest stanza for some of you, you have to play these quietly, these diddles. Make sure that's clean. Then we get to the fifth stanza. Now we'll play that for you slower. 1, 2, 1, 2. So that particular part that I just played, that roll, is the hardest thing in this solo because it starts on the left hand. Now, you lefties might not think that, but I'm a righty, so it's tricky, right? So, and I am playing traditional grip. You should feel free, obviously, to play match grip. There's no problem there at all. All right, and the judges will not be judging you on that, I hope. So let's play the whole thing now for you slower from A all the way to the 8-bar rest. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, so maybe you can practice with that slower, but it should be at 110. And then we get to the cymbals. So what you're going to do is you're going to put the sticks down, count those 8 bars, and then you're going to pick up the cymbals. So that all happens pretty quick. You need to have the cymbals close to you. Now I'm kind of confined quarters today, but normally you'd play the cymbals in front of you like that, and you'd have the stand raised up. Although if I have the stand raised up here, I'll be blocking the drum. I didn't want to do that. But I would suggest holding the cymbals like this with one hand lower. Don't do this, but like this. And cymbals is an art form, so you might want to take a few lessons from your teacher if you've not done this. But it's important. I have some videos on this channel about cymbal playing as well. So at B, I'm going to put the metronome on here. And we'll do it slower at first. And you must count and subdivide. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... So you see that I'm playing all the long notes, tenuto, as open, and I'm letting those ring. And then the staccato note there at the end of the second bar, the 3 and. I'm choking that. And I'm choking that into my stomach, like this. Not my chest. So you keep it low, and you try to angle them in like this. All right? And try to play with some dynamics. Now, the quieter ones, the danger there is that you'll get some air. So keep the cymbals offset from one another, and that'll solve the air problem. So now we'll play that last part for you at tempo, which is 110. One, two, three, four. So that about does it for this solo. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. We will be doing the 9, 10, and also the middle school solos, so keep your eyes out for those of you who are looking for those. Thanks so much.